Last talk of the afternoon, Lino Grama, on the construction of the T-dual for nilmanifolds.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to thank the organizers for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. And in this talk, I will give an overview of the construction of the T-duality for new manifolds. This is a joint work with the Viviana Del Barco and from Córdoba and Campinas. Córdoba, Argentina, and Leonardo Soriani from Campinas and Vienna. Okay. And let's start to what kind of the T-duality we consider here. And in this work, in this talk, I will consider the T-duality in the sense of the Bonnet, Hannibus, and Matai. And this comes from the physicists. And in the string theory, this T-duality is the NS flux, or the H flux. Okay. And let me start with the definition. Okay. And we consider two principal Tor bundles, E and E check, over the same base, and constructed this space is a fiber of the same base, but the fiber is the product of these Tors. And we considered two closed tree forms in H and the H check. And we ask for these three forms be invariant under the Todd's action. And the definition of what means the two pairs, EH and the H check, being two duals, if there exists some two form in this space, such that the pullback of the T form here and here is equal to the differential of these two forms. Okay. In other words, these three forms in these spaces almost exact, but it's not exactly because this form must be invariant of the Todd's action and non-degenerate in the fibers. And under certain conditions, the T-dual always exists. For instance, if there is a ST1 bundle, okay, but in general, it's not unique, this construction. Right now, we are interested in the following question. Suppose the E is a new manifold. Is the dual also a new manifold? Okay. In this case, maybe can we describe this T-dual explicitly in some sense, okay? And then the motivation and the related work is the motivation. For instance, Bozai, Auru, Katsarkov, and Love, they provided the homological mirror symmetry for the Kodaira custom manifold. Okay, this is a new manifold. This is a four-dimensional two-step new manifold, and this is the first example of the manifold that admits a complex structure and a symplectic structure. But don't admit Keller structure. Okay. In this case, for people prove this. There is the isomorphism between these two categories. Okay. And Lao Tseng Yao, there is a recent paper from non-Keller SYZ mirror symmetry. These three guys consider the T-duality to construct this example of non-Keller mirror symmetry, but the T-duality the guys consider is a different from us. Is a RR flux. These guys don't consider the three forms in the duality. It's exactly the same in losango, but they don't consider the H form. Okay, and Marco Aldi and Raimundo Eluani consider the T-duality between the Kodaira Thurston, H is equal to 0, in the four-dimensional torus, and H not 0, via the complex structure on the 8-dimensional new manifold. This 8-dimensional is exactly this manifold here, but it's not clear how to generalize the construction for the high dimensional because complex structure on new manifold is not so easy to do. But our construction works for the every dimension. Okay, and let's just very quickly recall some basic definition. Is a new manifold is a compact homogeneous space. Is a simply connected nilpotent Lie group, and we consider lattice as correct subgroup. Okay, and left invariant vector fields are projector of invariant vector fields of the Lie group, and left invariant forms we can pull back from the left invariant forms on G. Okay, and symplectic invariant tensors on the new manifold we can study this via Lie theory by symplectic complex forms of the Lie algebra. On a nilpotent Lie group admits a lattice if and only if the Lie algebra admits a basis for which the structure constants are rational. Okay, maybe the nilpotent Lie group cannot admit such lattice. And by Nomizo theorem, we can consider just closed invariant forms. And we have a natural torus bundle structure here. And the only Keller new manifolds are the torus. Okay. But the new manifolds admit symplectic structure and complex structures, and generalized complex structures. Do you see this? Okay, this is an invariant, okay? Invariant symplectic, invariant complex, etc. Okay, and now it's the problem. Suppose we have E a new manifold, the fiber of some base. Okay, and how to build this guy. And we assume the three forms assuming rational values on a base of the G. Okay. Okay, we can prove this is a new manifold, and we can produce explicitly the H check in the other side. Okay. Let me just give a brief sketch of the proof. This is the very well-known proposition. Is a new compact manifold is a new manifold if and only if is a torus bundle of a new manifold. Okay, this appears implicitly in some papers from Salomon that is building as a sequence of sequence of the fibration of the torus over torus. Okay, but I skipped the proof. I just comment because this we use it for. This is the main ingredient. On one hand, we consider from the given torus bundle over a new manifold, we can pick associated two forms. Okay, this is a curve to two forms. And we can consider the central extension of this guy. Okay, and the argument follows is skip this, is very technical, but the main point here is given a torus bundle of a new manifold, we can pick a two form. Okay, this is come from the curve to two forms, and they provided the nilpotent structure via the central extension. Okay. And the conversely is more easy. Just pick a central subgroup, okay, and they produce in two forms. This form will be the curvature form of the bundle, and the T-dual is a new manifold, and we use these ideas to construct the dual. The form will be this guy. This appears in the construction of the bundle, okay? But just let me make a remark. This is, I needed to guarantee the existence of this guy, because this is a little bit delicate, because there is no way. But here work at the Lie algebra level, okay? Okay, and then we can complete this diagram. Let me give you an example. This is the philosophy, okay? We start with this side. Okay, what this? This is the usual notation for some nilpotent Lie algebra. This means considered a base of the 6-dimensional Lie algebra. And what this number says is the following. For instance, the bracket of E1, E2 is equal E4. Okay, this is the position, this is the E4, and for instance, the bracket of the E1 and E3 is E5, and so on. Okay, and this notation means 8 is equal to E1 with E3 with E5 plus E2 with E4 with E6. Of course, here I'm identified the dual bases, etc. Okay, and suppose we start with this Lie algebra, the nilpotent Lie algebra, 6-dimensional, with the tree form. Okay, the philosophy is the following: given a nilpotent Lie algebra, you can pick some two forms coming from the principal bundle structure. Okay, with the curvature forms, we produce the H-flux in the dual side. Okay, and give the tree form in the beginning side. Okay, from the initial side, we produce the structure of the nilpotent Lie algebra in the dual side. Okay, there's some explicit computation, but by using the theorem is just some computation. In this case, no component in the base, but the most important is the second remark, this interchange of the curvature and the flux. This is a prediction by the physicists. The T-duality will interchange the curvature and the tree-form H-flux. And in this picture, this match very well. Okay. And the theorem is the following: if we consider this contraction is a rational value for all ijk in an appropriate base of J. I omit this comment, but that is appropriate base of the Lie algebra in terms of the decomposition of the base and the fiber. But if this guarantee, then there exists a lattice in the dual Lie group, and this pair is T-dual to the initial dual. Okay. Now we consider some kind of applications of this. Okay, we start with the simplest case with the H is not 0. Okay, and if we start with the Kodaira-Thurston manifold, the new manifold structure is just this, and then we can produce the all 0 is abelian group, is a torus, is a four-dimensional torus with the no trivial tree form. Okay, this is exactly the result of algebra 1. And now we'd like to apply this in terms of how understand the geometric structures in the manifold and its dual. Okay, this is just the final comments. Just to recall the definition of the generalized complex structure. Okay, we start with this pairing in the double tangent bundle of some smooth manifold, and the curval bracket. Okay, and a generalized almost complex structure is this automorphism, such that the square is -1, and the orthogonal with respect to the pair. And it's integrable if there's involutive with respect to the twisted current bracket, this guy. This is very similar to the usual complex structure. There's examples, and is an almost complex structure is naturally is a generalized complex, and the symplectic forms is also. Okay, but if you consider the two forms close, we can produce the formation of the generalized complex structures. Okay? And there is a theorem from Gil Cavalcante and Marco Gualtieri. If you have the T-dual pairs, this map is an isomorphism of current algebroids. And in other words, you can send sections of this bundle for a section of this bundle. And then we can transpose the generalized complex structure from E to E check. Okay. And now we would like to study this T-duality for nilmanifolds in the spirit of the mirror symmetry. I mean, I would like to understand the simplex geometry in one side by complexity geometry in the other side and vice versa. Okay. Okay, but for the nilmanifold, I can consider the infinitesimal structures in the Lie algebra. Okay. Maybe even in nilmanifolds, there's nilmanifolds not admit a complex structure or simplex structure, but we fix the T-dual pairs, and we can wrote explicitly the Cavalcante-Gualtieri map in our case. And if you start with the left invariant generalized complex structure, H integrable on E, we earn in the T-dual side a left invariant generalized complex structure, but now integrable with respect to the H check. That is a simple example. For instance, if I consider the Cavalcante-Gualtieri map, the map sends invariant simplex structure on the Kodaira-Thurston manifold to complex structures on four-dimensional torus, but this is a B complex structure. This is deformed by some two forms. Okay, and this is a complex, is integrable with respect to some H. And this is a sketch of the proof. We can parameterize all invariant simplex structures by Gabriela Ovando. This is the matrix. You can put this in the blocks, and you can write down this explicitly the complex structure in the torus, four-dimensional torus. Okay, and if I start with the two-step nilpotent Lie algebra, I can produce some ideal, I call it Lagrange ideal. And we'd like to study the symplectic structures in the Lie algebra via the generalized complex structures on the torus, but consider the non-trivial H. For instance, we consider this case, we consider a Tn todos bundle of a torus. And for this is what I'm saying. We have this T-duality, okay, and look, integrable structure here, if it is zero, is a usual structure, okay. And here, okay, the abelian group is not to do, but it is twisted by this H, okay. And what is the deal? For each H, I can build it. Okay, this is a process. I can reverse the process, and for each H, I can produce a two-step nilpotent Lie algebra. Okay, and in this case, we can change this criteria for the integrability of the symplectic structure on the nilmanifold by another equation. In this side, you involve the three-form H. Okay. Let me give an example. For instance, we can take the six-dimensional torus, and we consider this family of three forms. Okay. In this case, for each S and T, we construct a new manifold, depends on S and T. Okay, and by construction, this new manifold admits a symplectic structure. Okay. But the big deal here is how to produce a complex structure integrable with respect to these three forms. Okay. In this case, for each S and T, we can produce a Lie algebra parameterized by S and T, and this is the symplectic structure, a fixed for all new manifolds. But we can prove this. All this family is symplectomorphic to this nilpotent Lie algebra with the family of the symplectic structures. Okay. In this case, we can choose the problem. Instead to work in the symplectic side, we work in the more simple Lie algebra, but twisted by the three forms. Okay. Okay, this is just an example, but because the people interested in the study complex and symplectic structure in nilpotent manifolds, even in a high dimensional for 80 above 80 dimensional, there is no a little bit is no for this. And this is a tool. Maybe the people can use this to twist it. And for the developers. We can also construct the generalized G2 structures using T-duality. Is basically the same idea. We can, because of the generalized G2 structure, this guy appear, this T-form appear, and we can start with the generalized G2 in some new manifold, or solving manifolds, and then by duality send it to the other side. And there's some corrections. It's not so directly, but it also works. It's a joint work with the Bibiana. And more recently, Katsarkov and Leonardo is working the branes in T-duality, how to transpose the branes from the one side for the other in the six-dimensional manifolds. The branes here is in the sense of the Kapustin and Orlov. Okay, and that's it.
Lino, thank you very much for it.
Okay.